Hey guys, it's that time of the month and I'm here to tell you my top 5 albums for January. Once again, these are albums that I reviewed on the channel, so if I didn't review the album, it didn't make the list. I'm going to go through chronological order of release, starting off with Warm Shepherd, Ritual Hymns, out January 14th on Unique Leader Records. This is the band's second album. They're a deathcore band, but I feel like calling them a deathcore band is really a disservice to what they do because they have blackened elements. They also have symphonic elements, so they are expanding the genre, expanding the boundaries of what deathcore is all about. This is a phenomenal record. On a day that saw a lot of deathcore bands release their records for 2022, this album stood out in the crowd. It is a banger from beginning to end. It has tons of energy, great vocals, phenomenal sound, great presence, very dynamic. An album that doesn't offer you two songs that sound or feel even remotely similar. But it keeps it all together because there are enough roots. There's enough of a web that weaves between every single track that brings them all together as one solid record with a lot of diversity for the listener. Next we have Fit for an Autopsy, Oh What the Future Holds, out January 14th on Nuclear Blast. This is the band's 6th album. They're also a deathcore band who's also released an album on the same day as Warm Shepherd. This day became Deathcore Day as far as I'm concerned. And when it comes to Fit for an Autopsy, they keep pushing the envelope. They keep taking elements of previous records, things that worked really well in their perspective, pushing them into the next album and adding new nuances, adding new things, expanding the footprint of their sound, expanding exactly what they feel deathcore should be all about, and almost redefining the genre. They have an incredible band surrounded by an incredible group of people that understand exactly how to get the most out of these musicians, and they seem to release a better album with every single new album that they put out. This one is no different. I felt that this was perhaps a darker record, a more menacing album, and maybe because of that darkness, the album felt a lot heavier than its predecessor. But it comes down to perception. I just got that sense because of the way it came together, because of the robust soundscape that it carries and the atmosphere that's impacted by that same robust soundscape. Next we have Ereb Altor with Vargtimman, out January 14 on Hammerheart Records. This is the band's 9th studio album. They're a Viking black metal band, And this record had an incredible soundscape. That is what sold me on this album. Obviously, I enjoy the atmosphere. I like the changes between Swedish and English as far as the lyrics, as far as the energy that gives to the songs. But let's face the facts, this album was all about the movement, the shapes, the life that the sound had. If you listen to this record with quality headphones, you could really feel these tracks, how they move from one place to another. They never stay still. They're never stagnant. This is an album that doesn't offer a flatline sound approach from beginning to end. Each song not only has its own fingerprint, it has its own design. It has its own ability to morph, create, expand, contract, and really give you a very robust experience from beginning all the way to the end. Phenomenal sounding record. Next we have Verikalpa with Tunturihauta, out January 14th on Scarlet Records. This is the band's third studio album. They are a folk metal band, and this to me is their best record to date. There was a little bit of a hiccup with the previous album. I felt like that record didn't follow up the way I was expecting it to follow up. It wasn't the sophomore record that I was expecting it to be, but now this album took all the attributes that were positive, all the things that worked really well from the two previous albums, merged them together flawlessly, allowing this to be a very mature and complete record all around. It has everything that you would expect from this band. You're still going to get the folky nature, you're still going to get the folky sound, the folky atmosphere, the folky soundscape, but you're also going to get darkness, you're also going to get heaviness, you're also going to get a driven sound, and then you're also going to get a lot of melody. Everything at the right time, in the right portions, coming together perfectly in order to make the album as precise as it can be, offering an incredible experience, a very cohesive but diverse experience from start to finish, allowing this band to start to see exactly what their fingerprint is, what is going to be their sound going forward. This record blazes that path that they need to take as they continue to improve, as they continue to grow. Last but not least, we have Celeste with Assassines, out January 28th on Nuclear Blast. This is the band's sixth album. They're a black sludge post-hardcore. It's really hard to define the genre as far as this band is concerned. And this album sits on its own. It's the sixth studio album, but it feels very different from everything they've done up until this point. And I believe it's going to break a little bit from the past into the future as far as the band is concerned. I love the sound on this record. It has darkness, it has atmosphere, but it has a lot more definition in that darkness and in that atmosphere. It's easier to digest. This is an album that is much easier to get into, it's easy to stay connected with, and it's an album that's going to bring the listener back to it again because you don't feel overburdened by the overall experience of listening to it. Important elements if you're going to be creative, if you're going to create atmospheres, if you're going to create movements, if you're going to create elaborate soundscapes, you can do all of that, but you have to make sure that the listener does not feel tired from it and it doesn't make you work through it. You have to be able to assimilate everything that the record has in a very easy way so that the experience is as manageable as possible and allows the playability of the record to not be affected in a negative way. That's exactly what they've done with Assassines. this is it. These are my favorite 5 releases for the month of January. Let me know what favorite 5 releases you have on your list. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.